If I treat you wrong, I'll make it right. 'Cause loving you is easy, the feeling's too strong, why try to fight it? Loving you is easy, been away for a while, love was out of style. You waited for an answer, when you broke the rules, I played it cool. Come on, give it a chance, girl. I sleep alone and I wonder, is this a spell I'm under? But you slipped away. Belong to you, I can't have it any other way. Ooh, when you left for good, you thought you could. And never mind the feeling, when you think of me, I can guarantee I'm still staring at the ceiling. No sleep alone, and I wonder, is this a spell I'm under? This foolish heart still thunders. You slipped away. Belong to you, I can't have it any other way. Oh, if I treat you wrong, I'll make it right. 'Cause loving you is easy, the feeling's too strong, why try to fight it? Loving you is easy, I can be the one who can hold you tight. Loving you is easy, till the morning sun shines an early light. It's easy. Your loving makes it easy. It's easy, so easy. Your loving makes it easy. It's easy, so easy. My loving takes it easy now. If I treat you wrong, I'll make it right. 'Cause loving you is easy, the feeling's too strong, why try to fight it? Loving you is easy, I can be the one who can hold you tight. But loving you is easy, till the morning sun shines an early light. Loving you is easy, I treat you wrong, I'll make it right. Loving you is easy, feelings too strong, why put up a fight? Loving you is easy, feelings too strong. Loving you, loving you, if I treat you wrong, I'll make it right. 'Cause loving you is easy, the feeling's too strong, why try to fight it? Loving you is easy, been away for a while, love was out of style. You waited for an answer, when you broke the rules, I played it cool. Come on, give it a chance, girl. I sleep alone and I wonder,
welcome to AKTV. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Alex Kramer. I'm a Nashville native music maker, and this is my humble little talk show on the internet in my basement, broadcasting to you live from sunny Clover Hill in the Donaldson prefecture of the Nashville area. I don't think prefecture is.
I don't know that it is, but I'm not a linguist by trade.
A lot of times I have this as an opening segment where I can do my gripes, what grinds my gears, the news of the week. We were just in the studio today with Nicole Boggs and The Real, and just got back some fresh drum tracks from the one and only Fred Eltringham, and we're very excited about putting together the new record for you guys. But I don't want to bury the lead too much because I'm very excited about tonight's guest. Y'all, my next guest, you know him as a luminary, if I may invoke some deeper parts of the English language. That's
Yes.
the full depth of my vocabulary. I'm done after that, my vocabulary.
I'm a basic man.
He's a luminary of the Nashville music scene, of the worldwide music scene. He's a bright light, and he's just sunshine in every room that he walks in, and he's inspiring and talented, and I'm very happy to have him on the old sofa in my actual bedroom. Not to make it super uncomfortable.
It's okay. Let me get this cat suit.
That's the intro that I prepared. I've been rehearsing that all day, and I did it pitch perfect, just as I intended it.
Nailed it.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Roy Agee.
Oh. Yes, absolutely. This is my God. Yeah.
And that's all we can play of
That's
that.
all right. That's enough to set a mood, buddy. That makes me want to get my unitard and fly into a wall recreationally.
Yeah, very key.
Believe it or not, it's just me.
Cheers, Roy.
Cheers to you.
Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here. Shoot, yeah.
Most of our friends and most of whoever's watching does not know that I share the distinction of being a Mount Juliet native.
That is awesome. That is
Me and Roy both went to Mount Juliet High School.
Sure did. Mm-hmm. Got the overalls to prove it.
Do you know a guy named Eric Starks?
Oh my God, yes, I know Eric Starks. He's the whole reason I'm a musician. I really think he was the guy that started this for me.
It would seem that I just planned this out, like ask it that.
No, but you thought of that question, and like he's really a pivotal figure, and my being a musician at all.
He was my middle school band teacher.
Mine too, and he was my junior high. They called it junior high school, or junior high school. Good
Yeah,
Lord. They don't say hi twice. That's a tell-all. So, yeah, I remember what made me want to start overdubbing, the process of overdubbing. He came in with a tenor saxophone, and he played Pink Panther on the Roads, the theme to Pink Panther on the Roads, and he had recorded it. And then he took his tenor saxophone and he played over the top of what he recorded, and I was like, I'm doing that. And that's basically what I've done with my career.
Overdub,
Overdub. And in stacking parts or thinking of the things you can layer.
I thought you were going to tell a story that was just like blast from the past that he told when I was in middle school. I don't want to brag, but I will. First chair, middle school trumpet.
Right on. Yeah, hey.
Put down the trumpet after that, but
Well,
but for a time I had my glory moment in the sun. Were you tuba back then as well?
that
that was a touch.
Yeah, right.
Drum group.
From
Baritone. Did you move around or did you
No, I
center
stuck
on
with trombone. Yeah.
Wow. From
I
the
stuck
jump.
with trombone, and he was the one that held the horn up, and he said, "You should play this." And I remember going to him and saying, "I really want to play saxophone," and he said, "Well, I'll have to take you out of advanced band and put you in intermediate." And I was like,
I'm not playing with those
not
plebes.
doing that. No.
That's
So
great.
I stuck with trombone.
Did he ever play Bill Cosby records?
Oh my God!
And he would stand at the podium and he would just play the Bill Cosby records and wait for the punchline and just watch our faces to see how we were connecting to it. Isn't that crazy that he was doing that?
Bill Cosby himself is what we watched. It was like he was in a
Himself.
chair on stage and just talking, and it was great. And it kind of gave me that as I think back, like there were several experiences in theater and comedy that really spoke to me. Maybe a seed to be blossomed later in life, but the whole idea of one person and a microphone standing on a stage and somehow transfixing an audience, and taking them on this ride. And there was another, and I can't remember who wrote it or whatever, but there was a one-man play that I saw around the same time that evoked a lot of that same fascination. But Bill Cosby was an earlier. Well, I also watched Monty Python a lot.
Seminal. Yeah, same. That was our getting away from the family at the holidays. Me and my brother and my cousin Caitlin would go up and watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah,
upstairs.
That was what Eric played for us. Eric Starks would play that one for us.
Maybe he would play that too. I do remember distinctly a story. What I thought you were about to say about the overdubbing was Eric Starks told a story about how when he went into a session, he learned like how to make more money for himself by saying, well, this is my saxophone part, but I just happened to bring my flute, and I'm going to lay a flute part down, and I'm going to get paid twice.
That's right. Well, that's smart.
Yeah. He knew my parents because they had gigged together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dad's a bass player. Mom was a singer in like kind of a weekend warrior sort of band, cover band thing But Dad played with all kinds of artists, with Charlie Rich and Lynn Anderson, right. Rose Garden, and
oh my God, Lynn Anderson's parents lived down the street from me, and my dad was so super country. His name's Melvin. And he wore overalls. And you gonna blow a bugle? That's what my dad sounded like. He always called my horn a bugle. And
forever called.
So this California dude, and it's Lynn Anderson's dad, that comes up, and they want to pave the road. At that time, it's gravel. It's a gravel road, and so they want to pave it over, and they're going to have to cut down the pine trees in our yard to do it. And so Daddy was kind of holding out for that. And here comes this guy, and he looks like Ted Knight from.
Mary Tyler Moore, yeah.
Yes, he looks a lot like that guy, and he kind of sounds like him. Oh, hello, and he calls my dad Mel, and is Mel home? He says to me, and I'm like, and I go in and I said, hey, Daddy, somebody who's calling you Mel is here, and he went, oh, okay. He goes out, and he just listens to the guy sell this idea of paving the road and cutting down the trees, and he's just like, whatever. But that was Lynn Anderson's dad. And they lived in the woods behind our house. And they did eventually get it paved, and we lost the trees and everything, because I think most people wanted to pave it. It was limestone, so your car would fishtail whether you wanted it to or not.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a dangerous road. But
wow. I mean, Mount Juliet was a small town when we moved there from. So were you born at the Baptist Hospital?
St. Thomas.
Oh.
I did some. I thought it was Baptist the other day, but no, it was St. Thomas, and it was when it was on West End. It's since been torn down, but yeah.
Isn't that? Oh no, because what is now called St. Thomas Midtown was the Baptist Hospital, right?
Yes,
that's confusing because
it is. All these saints moving around.
How did the Catholics get the Catholics and the Baptists? Did they both fight for the hospital?
There was some blood. I don't know.
Why are the religious organizations in the hospital business? I've never understood it.
I mean, they're selling babies.
There's a through line there. There's a connection.
There's got to be something.
What was I going to ask? Oh yeah, about being a farm town. I guess we moved into Mount Juliet from my dad's bachelor pad, Woodmont Circle. Like, should have kept the house. Worth gobs and gobs. Hillsborough.
Ouch.
So he sold it in 90. We moved to Mount Juliet in 93. And that was it. So my experience is Mount Juliet in 93. The Dairy Queen is all there is.
There was, yes. And previous to that, the Dairy Queen was the second edition for us. The first place that had any food at all that we could go to in Mount Juliet was a place called Super Burger, which is a car lot now, 2 doors down from Green Hill Church of Christ, which was next to the Dairy Queen. So that kind of wide building was a place called Super Burger. Super Burgers. There you go.
Marketing
I should be in marketing. It's a Super Burger.
Oh,
yeah. And it tasted like a Sonic burger does. It was just super badass. And then came Hardee's was next.
But it wasn't a franchise. It was
it was a mom and pop burger joint. Really a diner. But we always got the burger, and they called it Super Burger.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, they were right.
Did they have they probably didn't have a nice logo. They probably had just the simple printing on the sign.
Yeah, I think it was on a wood sign.
Wow.
Super Burger. I think the S was backwards, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
great. That's wonderful.
Charlie just learned to write with his club foot.
When I grew up in Mount Juliet, it there was a musical scene there that I guess it was unique to. It wasn't exactly just because it was Nashville. Like Mount
No.
Juliet in and of itself had some sort of a musical
did.
thing in the water.
It did. Well, there's a lot of history in Mount Juliet. Like a lot of the Opry performers, a lot of them lived there that I like kind of before my time. String Bean lived not far from here in Donaldson.
My drummer Tucker's grandpa Spider Wilson.
Spider Wilson's his grandpa. Oh my God, I know Spider Wilson. Yeah,
Tucker lives on Spider's. Tucker and his wife live on Spider's farm
that's awesome.
out in Lebanon.
How cool is that?
Which is almost Mount Juliet, almost right on the line between.
And Charlie Daniels was in there. We used to run into him at the bank sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lived out on Chicken Road.
Yeah, I know, Chicken Road. You be careful down those. Get after you. They'll peck right at you. They'll peck your tires out.
Oh man, were they still stealing the Tate Lane sign?
Oh God, yeah.
How has this stuff lasted through?
I don't know, man. What's the fascination with Tate Lane? They're like, there's satanic ritual. Where?
Must be
Like in a field off the road, because the road is terrible.
there were legends of Tate Lane.
Yeah, the Legends of Tate Lane. Yeah, right past the railroad tracks, and people got, drive down there real fast, kicking up dust, and well, my brother would do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Tate Lane.
I have an off-camera story for Tate.
God bless you, kids. Stay in school.
Exactly. I wonder if I can see anybody on the YouTube if that's working. No.
Wait a minute.
No.
Oh, wait a minute, man, please.
And
We didn't pay for that rehearsal.
Right. No, I can't see nobody. I'm it's all a learning experience. The technology and all the buttons and moving
Oh my
parts.
God, yeah. Talk about
That's been the story of 2020.
it's like grad school for everything.
I remember that was the initiative of find something new. I think it was like Ivanka spurned up that initiative, and it's like what?
Yeah. But
This is my craft. I've worked on it for decades. I'm not going to find something new. It's a narrow craft that a certain very small percentage of people in the world speak the language I speak. You know, I'm not going to just go be a plumber. Like
no. That's the best shot we have as musicians, even from a business standpoint, is to stick in it, because I mean it's you get paid really well to do it when you get a chance to do it. It pays dividends because of all the time.
Yeah, all the pre-time. Yeah, you're not paying for what it took to learn the gig. It's the years it took to be the musician you want.
The immersion to speak a language.
Yeah. So yeah, I here's to putting the whole world back together in 2021. Do you have anything in the periphery that looks like we're sussing out? Is the Daigle camp?
They're pretty much calling it next year. They're not going to do much, I don't think. And if they do, it may look different from what we were doing. It's not going to be immediately jumping back into the stadium kind of thing. I don't foresee that happening.
No, that's
quickly. But there may be some spotty things here and there. But I have nothing, and it's just a blank slate, which is both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time, like most great things. Because ultimately, it's up to me if I fill that question mark up with a catastrophe, as I've done most of my life, or to fill it with wonder and sort of stick to that. But that's harder work, so I have to work harder at filling it up with wonder instead of some god-awful catastrophe.
It's an active pursuit, an active
you're
mental
not kidding,
pursuit.
man.
Man.
Good Lord. Well, that's it. You're going to be down at the mission. They're weird down there.
You fit right in.
Well, thank you. Yeah. How you doing? This is my sock puppet. Okay, Mr. Agee. All right. It's not.
I'm just gonna fire away at questions.
Go ahead.
I call them lightning round questions, but they never happen in such a fashion.
Okay. I'll try.
What did I say? I saw a John Mayer interview where he said, "I have some rolling fog answers to your lightning round questions." He's got away with words.
Yeah.
Favorite wrestler?
Favorite wrestler? Oh my gosh. Well, probably Diamond Dallas Page, because I do his DDP yoga. I like his motivation, how he thinks of things. He says, think positively. It's all about positive thinking, but then putting action with those thoughts. So putting in the work and then seeing results and feeling encouraged and building on that. I really like that viewpoint.
I've heard such great things about the DDP yoga.
He's really cool. He's a really cool motivational. He embraces the wrestler thing. Even at conferences, he'll wear like a shirt with no sleeves and stuff. And just to sort of almost parody himself, but like to talk about what he really is passionate about, which is rebuilding people who are really injured or have limited mobility and meeting them where they are. And then building up the strength to stand, building up the strength to stand for a period of time, squat, all that stuff.
Yoga is I mean, and it's like, it seems like not just recently, it's mainstream to the point that like a Diamond Dallas Page is like allowing like somebody who maybe a man who may be too macho or
exactly.
whatever to understand that. Yeah, I mean, it's just been in the last few years that yoga has been really embraced as not just some woo-woo fringe thing.
If you're going to tell me you're vegetarian, I can't understand what's happening, son. Yeah, so it is. I mean, it came from that kind of background. We're like, what? Do what now?
But DDP over Ric Flair?
Oh, I love the woo and all that. Probably my favorite. My favorite wrestler of all time is Andre the Giant, just because I admired him being able to move at that size.
Can you believe? Like, yeah,
giant. His hand would probably take right below my sternum up to my chest, from what people say.
Just imagine.
Bop.
And then you think about a heart filling up that.
Oh yeah, it's got a shelf life for sure. You know,
yeah,
there's no way around that.
Man.
But so he was cool. I don't think they're all pretty cool. I had a cousin who was a wrestler who's gone already, but his name was Troy. And Troy was what they call a jobber in wrestling circles. So he would fight the big acts, and like they would do that. But he was a really good wrestler, professional wrestler. He knew how to do all the stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's in the family.
Yeah, it is. It's in the family. He would do it in the backyard when we were kids,
There's like the independent wrestling scene in Memphis with Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. Jerry the King
Um,
Lawler and what's that dude, Andy Kaufman. I remember when that was happening.
Lawler and Andy Kaufman on the Letterman show
Yeah.
with the neck brace. We were just talking about David Letterman. I'm living out my Letterman fantasies. I got the microphone. That's how you know it's legit.
Paul, are you okay? Paul, is everything okay? Okay.
Yeah, we don't have a Paul. We are the Paul.
We're Paul.
This is a
We're Paul combo.
We can. Well, that's speaking highly of ourselves. I got to meet Jimmy Vivino last year, right in the before.
Oh my
time.
gosh! Yeah,
he came through to my Snitch gig on Mondays. He was hanging out with Juliet Hawkins, who was usually played before me, and he was friends with her. And I was so nervous, and I was like, "Hey, Jimmy, when I lived in LA a few years ago, and I used to go to your show at Cozy's. Have you ever heard of a?
I've never heard of that.
Just a little local club,
right
like
on.
one of those local musicians club. And I was so hurt. Well, not really hurt, but it was like, hey, we're gonna go over to this next room. There was like the other side room from Snitch, and I don't know if you ever went into there in Printers Alley.
Oh no, I've never. Well, I've been down Printers Alley, but
this was a new. Yeah.
Yeah. I know I went from point A to point B, but don't remember the middle.
We had the best times. We never remembered. But he was. Somebody said, "Hey, we're going over here," and he was like, I had just met him and said some nice things to him, and we were like setting up and sound checking, and maybe 25 minutes from downbeat from playing, and he said, "Oh yeah, well I'll meet you over there. I'm gonna sit here and watch Alex play for a little bit," and I was like, "Oh, as I'm just tuning up and doing the thing." And he stayed for probably 90 seconds. And I was just like, you didn't even hear nothing. But yeah, it was exciting. I have trouble getting pictures with people that I admire. Like, I don't want to be that guy. And then it's always the missed opportunity. And I should have
I get tagged, thankfully, on some stuff. I'm always afraid to ask, too. I'm like, can I have a picture with you?
Yeah.
I was like, but it's still.
You don't want to be that guy, but it's, when you look at it in hindsight, it just depends on, it's a case-by-case thing.
You could start popping them like a paparazzi, just taking pictures of them. Now, that's even worse.
And then that just,
see, I got you. I took a little piece of you.
That's a bad look. I just have some cliff notes here from the old career.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The old retrospective. And something stands out to me. You played in the Glenn Miller Orchestra?
I did, yeah. Yeah. It was what they call a ghost band at that time. And I can't remember the year. I think 97 maybe. But, yeah. So Glenn Miller died in the 40s, obviously. But the organization kept rolling, and I played in that band. We had to wear these coats that looked like game show host coats. And
Sure. Yeah.
My first gig with them was in, I think, Boston, and we played this high school gym, and they had the kind of bucket kid seats, and we had to stand up and go, Pennsylvania 6500, and the seat stuck to my ass.
Oh, wow.
And it popped off like that. And I remember the drummer was what they would call a lifer. He was just like, looking at me like, God, man, come on.
Like a lifer, as in he was
like
like
he'd been there a long time.
He was an old, he was a
just
tenured.
looking at me like, God almighty, come on.
Creating your own.
Because I'd hit his ride cymbal and went, he was like, come on, man. He was busy with the hi-hat. He couldn't really get to it. And, so that was fun. Yeah, but I did that for about a year. Went to Japan, and that was really another planet. 97 was the only time I've ever been to Japan, and it was amazing.
Another planet. I got to visit there, just visiting, not working, but my brother lived there for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Teaching English. Him and his wife
That's pretty
taught
cool.
English there as a gig. Like anybody who's a native English speaker can get a job teaching English in Japan.
Well, send my app in.
I mean, really.
I'll have a bunch of Southern Japanese people going, howdy.
It's funny you mentioned that. I used to go to, I was talking to you about Tucker Wilson. His wife Sierra is a hairstylist. And another hairstylist in the salon that she used to work at in Mount Juliet, had the most adorable accent that was halfway split. It was Vietnamese and Southern Belle. And it was the two things as one. And it was the most amazing thing.
Yeah, that's
ever heard.
awesome. You can't get that without diverse dual language stuff like that. It's just awesome.
But so I I spent 2 weeks in Japan over Christmas when my brother lived there. And you're right. It's, going to lots of places, going to Europe and going to wherever, Australia is exciting culturally.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing is convenience stores anywhere.
Yeah.
I love the little differences between convenience stores. But compared to Japan, all of that seemed like the Western world. Japan is another planet.
Yeah, it was just a different thing. I mean, it's probably less so now, but at that time, there was just enough differences where it was kind of intimidating getting around. I got lost in the train system.
Wow.
I'd had it. I was 23 when I started drinking, and I drank my first beer in Japan.
Wow.
And we went to a yakiniku place. They said they called it yakiniku, and you grill meat. They bring you meat, including horse. I had horse there.
Did you have raw? I had raw horse meat there.
No,
it was horse sashimi. You're like, no, you savage! Why would you?
Talking about?
There's a line.
He just bit it right on his calf, and the thing bolted out and took my jaw with it. No, I've never heard of that. That's pretty cool.
It was as if it were sashimi sushi, but made of horse.
They are not playing doing that. We will eat a horse alive. So they would bring it out in these giant beers, and I just kept drinking. And my cheeks, I looked like a toddler at that time. So young, 23, I think.
Mm-hmm.
My cheeks were red. And I got lost in the train system with a lot of Japanese girls that I met in the photo booth thing, which we didn't have over here at that time. It was like all novel. They'd spread out an Instagram strip of.
Oh wow, yeah.
That, like they have them at weddings all the time now. But
just a mobile unit.
At the time, I was like, whoa.
This is technology.
And I'm in the middle of like 4 or 5 of them. They're giving the peace sign.
Doing it, yeah.
And I'm like, I hope I live. I'm just trying to get to my hotel in Tokyo, and I'm in Kyoto.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So that was an amazing time, but that was with Glenn Miller. Yep.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Remember when I said I was going to ask you lightning round questions? Oh, wait. I started. I started. See, you notice I have a blue card?
I love that.
See, that's
Letterman, there's Lipton, there's so many good guys.
I'm telling you, man, I'm just LARPing. That's a live action role playing. I'm just, what's the word?
That.
Cosplaying in my talk show fantasy. So, these aren't great questions. Well, what's your favorite dish to make at home?
Beef short ribs in my pressure cooker. Now it's
Roy.
I know. I never had short ribs until I got a pressure cooker, and my friend Mark sent it to me for my birthday, and it's been a game changer. So it's like I use a cup of broth and 2 cups of red wine, and lots of fresh garlic and onions and all kinds of stuff, and then just cook it, and it's like 30 minutes or something, and it's just done. And then I let it simmer a little bit more, and put in a little bit of cornstarch and water slurry, and thicken it up, and use that as a gravy. And then I usually have bagged salads on hand all the time, so I get some kind of vegetation.
Sure. Yeah, get the roughage.
Yeah,
get that roughage.
Yeah.
I'm bad
But
about
that's
that,
my
too.
favorite. Yeah, I tried to make peanut butter chicken and put so much peanut butter in it. It was like I had to use a pocket knife to clean it. I had to use like a real stabby kind of pocket knife to clean. I was like, man, this is the
What
last
is a
time I make
no,
this.
what do you mean pressure cooker? That's not like a not a,
Instapot.
it's an in, oh okay.
And so what you can like saute. There's a saute setting and get all your
Yeah.
stuff from the meat brown and stuff. And then there's a pressure cooker setting where you close the lid and it takes a minute to come to pressure. And then at that point it counts for whatever you set it to, like 15, 30 an hour, whatever it is. And it comes down and then it releases. I usually almost always do a quick release where it goes for 15 minutes. And it was like, oh, I hope this doesn't catch the house on fire. Or anything.
Science.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
I've never experienced anything like that. It's a miracle pot to me. I call it my miracle pot. I
That's
hope it makes money.
That's really cool.
Oops.
I feel like the air fryer is all the rage these days. It's
Yeah, I
kind
don't
of a
have
similar
one of those,
thing.
but like there's a combination of Instapot air fryer too. There's a model that does that.
Yeah, those are cool. We got tricked by the air fryer thing, and it was like awesome. I mean, it is. You can make like if you just grab the old whole chicken wings at Kroger and throw them like you're making restaurant quality wings, and you for a while it seems so novel. But the air fryer we have is an egg that's about like this.
Yeah.
That's how much space it takes up on the counter, and then you pull out the pan, and the pan is like about that much space, so you can get like 6 wings in there.
Oh,
So it's kind of like it seems miraculous at first, and then after about a month, we kind of lost our luster with it, and now it sits in the deepest part of the cabinet on the
Yeah.
bottom, unused.
it probably at some point. I mean, I've had a couple of experiences like your food's burning. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Pocket knife, scrape the bottom. You know, so
That's great. I had some musical questions for you. I don't know if this is a very good question. Do you have any thoughts on perfect pitch? I'm fascinated by perfect
I do.
pitch and the notion of perfect pitch and some discrepancies between what. Have you ever heard this where somebody goes, "Well, I don't have perfect pitch, but I have relative pitch." As a term, I don't know what that means, and I don't really believe that makes it like relative pitch. As the only thing that I can draw to that is, you know what an interval is. You know how to draw. Your
I think
interval.
that's what it refers to. I'll tell people I have relative pitch, and I don't think I have classically what you would call perfect pitch, but I almost always hear because of oboes driving an A or a. I was a little low, but yeah,
So that's what pitch?
that's an A.
440.
440. And I just hearing so many oboes play that over the years in orchestras drove it into my consciousness. So I can always recall an A. And then from there, if I'm like, so what key is that in? I'll go, even if it's in B flat.
And then you can draw from there.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like most perfect pitches is people have one or a collection of notes. They have a couple of notes. They can get A and G and whatever else and then find their way around from there.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know. There are probably people who can do it. I'm not one of them. But I've also had people who said they had perfect pitch who missed intervals sometimes too, you know. So that's like the word perfect really does set up a weird standard. But some people can tell really quickly without referencing something else what a pitch is. And A is one of mine. It might be my only one. I think a B flat or an F, I hear those pretty well too.
Yeah, it's interesting the notion of pitches as individualistic, like a palette of color. Like every color has their own
that's
vibration and frequency.
Thing, yeah.
And it took me a long time to really accept that it wasn't all relative. Like what makes a major chord not a minor chord is relative, and who cares if it's a D or a C? Like it's much more important that like the relationship between the notes.
That to me, like where I was fascinating, and I think this is probably the best part of my own musicianship is my ear and hearing vertical sonority, and because I did a lot of transcribing.
Vertical what?
Vertical sonority, so chords, chord by chord by chord by chord, or hearing. And this is something one of my teachers, Mike Longo, used to talk about with jazz, thinking extensions down to the root rather than the roots. You have to learn root motion first, but then thinking extensions down because all your melodies are close as the roots move by fourths. Your melodies are close by. And and then on my transcription, I'm looking for the top voice of the chord and the quality of the chord and then I pretty much know by texture where to voice the chord, what it'll be. So hearing vertical sonorities to me, it was a good use of ear to transcribe and learn things like that. And I think even when you transcribe single note stuff, if you're into jazz, like getting the piano voicing is pretty huge too, because that gives you the visual of the whole solo. It gives you it's like a three-dimensional graph of the solo.
Isn't the piano the perfectly constructed instrument?
And I tell you, another guy listening to Joe Pass and his voicings, even 3-note voicings, the ones he's choosing, and the stuff he's choosing, it like really sets up, and why those notes set up that sonority is another question. Like, E, B, and F.
It's a constant discovery. Yeah, Joe Pass's realizing the power of these are all leading tones, and this could be one of a number of things.
Yeah.
Man, it's just
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. I think about the piano as the perfect instrument versus when I think about the guitar, and I'm sure for you, we have such imperfect instruments. What a wild concept. The trombone, do your best, find
Gotta help you. You're playing a metal pipe. Rather primitive, don't you think?
Rather primitive. If you think about dinky little strings, these weird little microphones, that
bug hotels with
that go into tube technology. You haven't seen a tube television or what? There hasn't been an updated version.
No.
The primitiveness of getting to this sound that goes, oh, that's rock and roll or whatever.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
That micro hearing that rhythm players have, being able to tell a lot of times you guys can tell what instrument it is, what vintage it is, what amp it is. I can't.
What speaker in the amp of the year of the whatever.
I'm not gonna be able to tell any of that.
Reading music, the worst thing in the world to me is just where do you want it? Here's it.
So many different places.
That's not a different That's not a different octave. That's one G in 5 different places,
and they sound different. Yeah,
So especially with the weird, in a monophonic instrument, it's at least more sensible, in one direction.
Right.
But I guess all instruments have their own quirks and what makes them.
Oh God, yeah. This definitely has its share.
Yeah. How old is the trombone historically? Is it
That's a good question. I don't really know. It came from an instrument called the sackbut, which was meant to be played out loud, and so on the bell section, instead of having this flare, it'd be cut off right about there. So it'd be just a tube that ends abruptly with a slight flare, and it was meant to because it would cut. I had to play a sackbut in college.
Sackbut?
Sackbut.
Cute.
How about that?
That's great.
And then you call it a trombone. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all, man? How about we just have a slide whistle? Can we be a slide whistle? That's
slide bugle, slide whistle.
Slide bugle. Yeah. There you go.
Makes sense. It's a slide bugle. A bugle is a non-valved.
That's a slide bugle. Daddy was right.
All these years. It really is just a bugle.
Thank you, Melvin.
Not Mel.
Not Mel.
Not Mel.
Who? That's what he said, I remember. Somebody out here calling you Mel. Who?
Wow. Hey, so you studied at the Blair School of Music at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I went to school there. I graduated in 1995. And,
were you gigging at that point, or did you leave school to go, was it a...
I did it at the same time. I started playing in a big band that would go on weekends out of town. It's called the Bowthorpe Orchestra, which is a famous orchestra in Nashville for the stories. But we would leave 100 Oaks. My parents would take me to 100 Oaks.
Yeah.
And then I would.
Oh, that was the bus call.
The bus call at midnight. I get on a great.
Some things never change.
Greyhound style bus, no bunks or anything. We'd just sleep in our seats like dead people. And so, and then we'd get to the gig, and we'd all have to share 2 rooms. The ladies got one room, and all the dudes got the other. It was a hang room and change room.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd play an hour and a half of jazz in a big band in tuxedo, and then we would play beach music and rock and roll and all this stuff. And I remember the lead trombone player was a guy named Al Javorky who just passed. But Al Javorky would say, "I don't drink till the gig's over, and when we play this rock and roll shit, the gig is over." And he would drink gin like water. Man.
Oh, that was
this dude.
There was still an hour, half an hour left.
He was from Cleveland. If you ever watch F is for Family, I see a lot of Al Javorky and that main characters just middle America, no BS, just nuts and bolts, and what are we doing? What happened to the music? Gin. Jen still can play.
Right.
Can play the entire game. Great.
Y'all play your
Jen.
Wipeout or whatever.
Hey, whatever we're doing now, this game's over.
That's incredible. That's very cool.
It made me laugh every time he would say that. I'd be like, whoa, this guy's not playing. And a little voice inside me, maybe my mother's voice going, don't go down this road, Roy.
You don't have to be like...
You don't have to drink it like that.
Oh man, that's so funny.
He was awesome.
Have you ever heard the... Have you ever heard of the Buddy Rich tapes?
Oh, yes.
Oh, the legend.
Oh, God.
That was just you
Young
telling me
man
a
with
story.
faces.
Yeah, it's like, sound like a fucking high school...
I'll get an all LA band in here tomorrow. You think I won't? I'm just like railing on everybody. It's like,
up there with your microphones. How'd you like to be up there? There's lore.
mean.
There's lore of Seinfeld quotes that Seinfeld put in the show that are direct quotes from the Buddy Rich tapes.
wasn't that in a dang
And
bit.
one of them, it's like weird things like, I'm gonna take you outside and show you what it's like. This is general, like, nobody knows what it means, but you know what it means.
Yeah. There's some kind of thread in there. Let's just leave him be.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yep.
Well, now we're gonna play 2 hours of the Buddy Rich tapes,
There
and
we
just
go.
sit here and listen to
We'll
them.
be back.
No, let's play some music.
Okay.
It's jam time. We've got all of our little accoutrement devices, our trombones,
Yes.
our mutes.
Yep.
Is that what that's called? Yeah.
Yep, but
I know,
that's it.
I know about most of
You got 'em.
the gear. All right, we're gonna take a little pause, reset the camera, and we're gonna jam on some tunes.
Sounds good.
Come on, which button?
She said, you don't know me at all, but she doesn't really mean it. Every summer turns into fall, she got me on her mind. We were younger when we met, and she won't let me forget when I let her down. I've been making some changes, I'm older now. We're just ordinary lovers, staying up all night, fighting for each other, trying to get it right, going through the motions. We've been here before, when will we discover we're ordinary lovers? I'm so crazy for thinking that everything is fine. No, I can't shake this feeling that we've been wasting time. You know all my ins and outs, and whenever I'm in doubt, you ease my mind. Hearts don't ever break even. We can say we tried. We're just ordinary lovers, staying up all night, fighting for each other, trying to get it right, going through the motions. We've been here before. When will we discover we're ordinary lovers? Oh, 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 lovers.
we're back. Okay, this is the first time I'm bringing in the old Alesis drum machine.
Right on.
So
We'll see what it does.
just like life, it's a grand experiment. I feel like
Your Honor. The UFOs.
me eyes, me undies. Do you listen to podcasts?
Yes.
Yes.
You hear that all the
They're
time.
all over the place. I just had a change of heart. Big part of it. The big part of the song.
Oh, yeah. Look at that little fella. How you doing, Mr. Microphone?
As if,
Pretty good.
as if by design. It's Christopher Cross.
Yeah.
We made some
Yeah,
sounds.
that's fun.
Making some sounds with the Roy Agee.
Howdy.
Bearded Roy Agee.
Yeah, beer,
AG 2.0.
How are you doing?
Was the beard? Was this like a first of the 2020?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown them before, but not, I always can't get past the hobo stage where I'm like, man, this shit's aggravating me, man.
This is my first adult beard. It doesn't
It's
really.
killing. It's great, man.
It's a little bit transparent right around here.
Yeah, this one curls out like I'm like a little bit Hasidic. Like
Oh, yeah.
1/3 Hasidic or something.
L'chaim, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure. But
Well, just,
yeah, so it's the first time I've ever done, and like the coloring is right, and I've got the matching glasses. That was a happy accident.
that's key. Are those actual prescription or those vanity frames?
No.
Not the vanity frames.
Yeah, no, I gotta be able to see a little bit.
I think this all works. Well, I'm happy to be here jamming with you.
Same.
And I'm honored that you're joining me here on a little original song. I'm gonna play.
Yeah, can't wait.
play one for my record goal. Don't wait for me. Is that the right tempo? We're gonna find out. Right. Take it, drummer. Taking a wrong turn, and who am I to get away? Head's been leading my heart first, no one else for me to blame, but it's been a slow burn, and I just can't take the pain of this. It's taken too long to learn, and the feeling I really miss. I can taste you on my tongue. I can erase your trace from me. Dragging baggage on my own. It's a pretty heavy load. Don't wait for me. Be a better man in the long run, but I've been towing a line. Take away the damage that I've done. Give me time and I will try. See, I can brush away the dust and it's all gone, but I'll be feeling all the cracks in my life. Oh, my life. I can taste you on my tongue, and I can erase your trace from me. Dragging baggage on my own, and it's a pretty heavy load. If you wait for me, you can help me part the sea. Pass on to it, set you free, but you won't wait for me. I can taste you on my tongue, and I can erase your memory. Dragging this baggage on my own, and it's a pretty heavy load. But don't wait for me. Don't wait, don't wait. Don't wait for me. Don't wait, don't wait. Don't wait for me. Don't wait for me. Don't wait. Yeah.
Don't wait for me, baby. Yo, I love that one, man.
Thank you,
That's
dude.
killing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, Man, I haven't played with you in
I know.
well, a couple weeks,
Well,
actually. Yeah. That was a
But
good
not
time.
really playing. You know?
Right, yeah, that was
it's
just- that was
It's
auto-
been like since Sunday Night Soul or something, like
Yeah.
way back. You know?
Shout out to the one and only Jason
Jason
Eskridge.
Eskridge.
Shout out to Harlow Quinn,
Harlow, love you too.
the beating heart of the 5 spot.
That's right, man. Those guys, they got a thing.
They got a thing, man. And you know what? We'll be back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll be back.
We're creatures of habit. You can't keep it down forever.
And it's just like, I think about how this music thing was taken away from us, and it's a mourning.
Yeah, man. I've definitely felt it. Definitely have felt it, and had good days and bad days, but just like practicing for just to stay engaged.
It weighs heavy on my heart, and it really is about staying engaged. And the biggest lesson that I feel like I got from 2020 is if I didn't know that I was a lifer before,
Lord, I know.
this is what makes me tick. I ain't going nowhere. This is what I am meant to do.
Yeah.
So there's a solace, there's a security in that sense of, even though we don't know when the next time it's going to happen, but
know.
be damned.
And somehow we're surviving.
Yeah.
You know, anyway.
Yeah.
So if we can survive this, man, there's very little we can't.
Yeah, that's true. That is the silver lining right there. Let's end with the Beatles song, right?
Yeah.
Beatles kids growing up. Beatles
Yeah,
kid growing up.
White Album was my favorite one. And
White
Sgt.
Album.
Peppers. I started with Sgt. Peppers, and then I went to Rubber Soul and all that stuff. But White Album was what I loved.
Yeah.
Martha, my dear. They were so light and boom, boom, boom.
There's a lot of different opinions on greatest album. The magazine version of greatest album of all time is Sgt. Pepper's, but it seems like all the real Beatles fans go, Sgt. Pepper's is their least good album.
Yeah, it was really polished.
Yeah.
And really innovative, but there was other albums that I liked better.
And then there's the next level of hipster Beatles fandom to me, which is rejecting Sgt. Pepper's and rejecting White Album and the brilliance and all that, and they go, actually, the best one was Rubber Soul.
Nah.
Like, if you're a real fan, you go Rubber Soul. And like, okay, Rubber Soul's great, but what happened after that? Come on. And then there's the correct answer, which is Abbey Road is the best Beatles record.
Right. Yeah.
I'm an Abbey Road kid. That was,
Abbey Road's pretty great. Let It Be, I enjoyed. I mean, even though they're falling apart, you know, you can almost hear some of that. And like, yeah. But Rubber Soul I liked a lot because it was a Revolver I liked a lot.
Yeah.
Because it was sort of a departure from like the teeny boppy thing into like, what are you guys doing now?
Well, it was that period where they were influencing the Beach Boys, and the Beach Boys was influencing them.
Yeah,
and
they
they went tit for tat with
Man.
pet sounds. And
We
that.
all benefited as a result of like, damn those guys, we got to come up with something.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it was Paperback Writer was inspired by. Must have been.
That makes
The Beach
sense
Boys,
because it opens up with all that harmony.
All, yeah,
Paperback Writer.
Man.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah. Decent band. If you don't know them, you should check them.
Yeah,
It's
check
the
'em out.
Beatles with an A in it.
Yes, and they're just as yummy on salads, so don't worry about that.
Wait, what? You've been to a lot of exotic places that have all kinds. Have you ever eaten an insect that is meant for?
Hell no. Well, probably. I had a moth in a Frosty one time that I guzzled down.
That wasn't intentional,
No,
though.
that was not a delicacy in Dixon, Tennessee. I just swallowed a moth with chocolate frosting. I'm not mad about it because this is delicious.
We live and we learn, don't
Yes,
we?
yeah.
Don't
Damn,
we?
don't get a Frosty.
Look at that. Look at our audio levels. That's exactly where we want them to
Beautiful. Look at that.
be. Love it. All right. Last song.
Here we go.
Let's go on ahead and do it. A little fast. Yeah, about 80.
All right on.
About 80.
80? Well, I was going 80 on the way over here with a beer in one hand and joint in the other, and I don't know why they're mad at me.
That's not true.
No.
That's not true.
That's really not.
He's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man to God.
Yes, absolutely.
See what I mean?
Here come on, flat top, he come grooving up slowly. He got juju eyeball, he won holy roller. He got feet down below his knees. Hold you in his arm till you He bad production, he got Boris Gumboot, he got oh no sideball, he want spinal clacker, he got hair down to his knees. Got to be a joker, he just do what he please. Come together right now over me. He turned the coaster, he got early warning, he got muddy water, he shoot Coca-Cola, he said, I know you know me. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now over me. Come on, do it again, Roy. Hey, he bad production, he got Boris Gumboot, he got oh no sideball, he want Mojo filter, he said one and one is three. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now. Said come together right now. Yeah, come together right now over me. Hey, come together. Yeah. Come together. Yeah. Come together. Yeah. So come together. Yeah. So come together. Yeah. Come together. Yeah. Come together. Yeah. Come together. Yeah. I said come together right now over me. Pow, 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 pow.
It's hard to do a trash can ending with the robots.
I know. Damn it, robot, play.
Fired.
No.
Fired guy.
That's it. Throw a toaster.
Roy Agee, y'all. Hire this man. Go to royageetrombone.com
Yeah. Come on.
and spread the love, y'all.
Absolutely.
I hope to see you again on the
Same.
Hope to see you on the East Side Update again, or if on your other endeavors.
Yeah.
You've got obviously immense talent, but you got quite a bit of personality too.
Well, yeah, I'm told. Yeah, I'm around doing stuff and just hanging in, just like everybody else.
Right.
And just enjoy doing it.
Doing what we do.
We're doing what we do.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here,
Yeah,
bud.
thank you.
Truly a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Good night. We go to the other screen now. Wait, what's your
Get your story straight, baby. You've been acting kinda shady. Back and forth, you're just delaying. So what's your testimony lately? Order in the court. May proceed until you plead your case. All this love and war, pain and suffering in time and space. Tell me what's my crime? I think that you can handle the truth. It's the same old alibis, never gonna be good enough for you. Get your story straight, baby. 'Cause lately you've been acting kinda shady. Back and forth, you're just delaying. So what's your testimony lately? I can hear you say